Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rachele Teson and I'm a Nationally Certified School Psychologist here in Missouri.
For this week's Tech Tip Tuesday, I wanted to show you how you can use Google Slides to create a one sheet or a flyer that you can use at the beginning of the school year. So I'm going to show you how I made my Meet the School Psychologist flyer or one sheet and how you can easily recreate something like this for yourself. So the first step is to go to Google Slides. If you open up a Google Chrome browser page, all that you would have to type in is slides.new, and a screen just like this one will pop up. Now, the next step is to first make sure that it's the size that we want. And because this is a one sheet or a flyer, we want it to be easily printable. So we're actually going to change the size. So we're going to go to File and then click on Page Setup. And you'll see that it defaults to widescreen because it thinks that you're going to build out a presentation. So we're going to click the drop down and go to Custom. And then from there, we're going to type in the width and height that we want. So for width, we're actually going to change this to 8.5. And then for height, we're going to type in 11, keep it at inches for the units, and then click on apply. So now you can see it looks more like a piece of paper. And it's going to be much easier when we go to print this if we wanted to have a physical copy. All right, so the next step is to, at least for what my brain wants, is a clean slate. So I'm going to click on the screen, drag my mouse, and highlight both of these text boxes. And that way I can select both of them at the same time. And then I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard so that they go away. And now what I'm going to do, now that I have a blank canvas to work off of, I'm going to kind of create the title or the section where my title is going to go. So I'm going to grab this rectangle shape and we're going to, doesn't really matter because we'll use this click and drag feature to make it the right size until we see those lines pop up to let us know that we're at the edge of the paper. And then we'll have this one go all the way up to the top. And then let's see, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so then from here, you could choose to fill it in with whatever color speaks to you. You could make it your school colors. You could make it match anything. For now, I'm just gonna click black and have it be a black background. All right, and then next I'm gonna actually make my title. So I'm gonna come up here and click on text box and then click anywhere on the screen. And I'm gonna put Meet the School Psychologist. Okay, now I want to change the font and surprise, surprise, I'm gonna use Poppins and we're gonna do extra bold. And then the text color, it looks like it defaulted to this like gray, but we're gonna make it white. And then we're also going to come up here, click on more, and we're going to center it um, horizontally and vertically. And then let's bring it up here, use those lines to help center it. Okay, I'm wanting to make this font size a little bit bigger. So you could click the plus sign and increase one size at a time, but I'm gonna click on the number and drop down here to a larger number. Oh, too big. Let's try nudge it down just a little bit. Perfect, there we go. All right, so now it takes up most of that paper. That's looking pretty good. So now the next step is I like to have a picture of myself because if the purpose of this is to introduce yourself, it's really nice to put a picture to the name. So to insert a picture, we're going to come up to Insert, go to Image, and then Upload from Computer. And I'm going to pick a picture of me. Here's one. Okay, and obviously we don't want the picture to be that large. So I'm gonna bring it down maybe about this size. And I don't know about you or what your formatting preferences are, but I like to have a nice circle picture. So Google Slides will let you crop pictures in whatever shape you want. And to do that, you just come up to crop image, but instead of clicking where it says crop image, we're actually going to go to the arrow that's next to it, go to shape, and I'm going to click on circle. And then I can move my picture. I always like to put it on this side. It's just a habit when I build this out. All right, so then the next part is creating contact information, because if you're introducing yourself, you probably want to share how educators or families or whomever, how they can reach you. So we're going to add a text box, and I'm going to put my name here, and then I have my phone number that's listed. For the sake of this video, we're going to create a fake phone number. And then I also put my email address. And then for that one too, I'll just do a pretend one. Okay. And then that box is done. I do want to format this. So I'm going to click on where my name is, and we're going to make it bold. And actually, we're going to change the font of this so that it matches. So coming up here, and we're going to click on Poppins. We're going to do normal, but then where my name is, we're going to make it bold. And I'm also seeing that the text is still that gray. So we're going to change it to this color here. And this is a really long pretend email that I did. So we're going to make this shorter just for the sake of this video, so you can actually get a better feel for how this looks for me in real life. Okay, so we've got that. I'm going to make sure that we move it over so that we have a margin, when we go to print. Okay, that looks pretty good. Next, I want to have a section that describes what a school psychologist even is, because sometimes when I'm working with younger staff, or if you have a new building, or sometimes people just don't know really what we do or what we could do to support the students and families of our sites. So instead of doing that exact process of formatting again, I'm just going to duplicate this text box. So I'm going to grab it, and then you can right click and do copy, and then right click anywhere again and click on paste. And then you can see they kind of overlap a little bit, but that's a way that you can not have to do the formatting completely over. And so for this next one, I want to line it up. Oh, good grief. There we go. All right. So for this one, like I said, I do what is a school psychologist. So where my name is, I'm going to type in what is a school psychologist. And then instead of phone number and email, I'm just going to have the text here. And you could pull from a resource. You could just describe what your role looks like in that particular school or in that site, kind of whatever makes the most sense for you. And then I'm going to copy. This time I'm going to use my keyboard shortcut Control C, Control V to duplicate it. And now I always want to make sure everything's lined up just right. Make it wrong so that I can find that line here. Okay. And so for this next section, if you're introducing yourself, you probably also want to talk about you specifically. So we've got contact information, we've got what is a school psychologist at large, and now talking about the specific school psychologist that this piece of paper is about. So I would put my background, And then where that text is, I would type out maybe the number of years that I've been a school psychologist, the number of years that maybe I've been in that district or at that school. I could also put my credentials in terms, my training and where I graduated from. Anything that you wanted to put, you could personalize it. When I'm not at school being a school psychologist, these are some things that I'm interested in. Really, whatever you would want it to be. Okay, and then the last section that I always use, again, I'm just going to duplicate this part. Um, there we go. The last part is a section that I call Why I Love My Job. And so I'm just going to type that part out, and I put love in all caps because I really do love being a school psychologist. Okay, and then for this part, I actually have the top 10 reasons of why I love being a school psychologist. I know that sounds kind of silly, but I love it. Okay, so then instead of just like paragraph format, I actually do a list. And so I'm going to come up to more, click on numbered list, and then it's ready for me to start typing things in. I think it's a really cool way to show the parts of our job or parts of school psychology that we're really passionate about, because there's so many areas within school psychology that you could have a strength in, or really prefer to do, that type of work. So I think it's really important to highlight the parts of our jobs that we really, really love. All right, so then by the end, with all of the different text fields, it will be nice and filled in. If you wanted to, on your picture, have a black outline, maybe that would, here we go, maybe, want it to be a little chunkier. Okay, and then change it to black. That way it kind of matches the rest of my Meet the School Psychologist flyer. Okay, this is looking pretty good. And then you're ready to share it out. So you could go to File, Download, and download this as a PDF and share it with your staff and your buildings via email. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you next week.